We begin with breaking news at 4 o'clock. An ICE agent shot and killed a woman in Minneapolis, Minnesota earlier today. In the last 15 minutes, we learned that woman killed is from Colorado.
A family member identifies her as Renee Good. First, cell phone video captured the shooting, and we want to warn you, this is disturbing to watch. The video shows agents approaching an SUV, demanding the driver get out. The driver then, as you can see, backs up to make some room to pull away before accelerating forward. That is when an agent shoots her in the car, killing the driver. The Department of Homeland Security said the driver attempted to run over law enforcement. The mayor called that narrative BS in longer form. Democratic Governor Tim Walz said this incident confirms the fears that expanded presence of federal agents in that city would lead to violence.
I hope. Maybe we're at the McCarthy moment. Do you have no decency? Do you have no decency? We have someone dead in their car for no reason whatsoever. And I don't want to be right about this, but I said if they do this, they're going to create a chaotic situation where someone innocent's going to get killed. And they did it. And now we hear more political rhetoric. Enough. Enough is enough.
So as we mentioned at the top of the show, the victim has been identified as 37-year-old Renee Good. Following her death, there have been protests, clashes in the streets between police and ICE and protesters.
And Kyle Clark is joining us now. And Kyle, you spoke to some family members who have told you a little bit more about Renee, and she is from Colorado.
So a member of her family spoke to our team here at 9 News and confirmed that Renee Good did indeed grow up here in Colorado, specifically in the Colorado Springs area. Her family has longstanding ties to the area. Some of them still live here in the area as well, and they have been learning this afternoon what happened to her this morning in Minneapolis. So again, 37 years old. I believe that she was previously married with a deceased husband. So Renee Good, with ties to the Colorado Springs area, her mother, Donna Ganger, actually spoke with the Minneapolis Star-Tribune. We have reached out to her mother. We have not spoken with her mother ourselves, but she told the Star-Tribune of her daughter in this moment when she was shot by this ICE agent, quote, she was probably terrified. She told the Star-Tribune that she was not aware of her daughter being involved in anti-ICE protests. Probably just goes without saying that it is not a crime to engage in protests in America, but her mother said she was not aware that she was involved in any of that. A family member told us that she'd also recently been living in the Kansas City area. That tracks with the fact that there were Missouri plates on the vehicle that was involved today. There was also a sticker on the back of the vehicle that appears to be from a women's soccer team in Kansas City. Donna Ganger said to the Star-Tribune today of her daughter, quote, Renee was one of the kindest people I've ever known. She was extremely compassionate. She's taken care of people all her life. She was loving, forgiving, and affectionate. She was an amazing human being. If nothing else, we know that she was close to her family. She officiated her brother's wedding here in Colorado just a couple of years ago. A number of other folks in the family were involved in that wedding ceremony as well. But again, Renee Good, originally from the Colorado Springs area, was the woman who was killed by ICE agents in Minneapolis today. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem immediately said that she was involved in an act of domestic terror, which is a hell of a thing to say before the facts settle out on a situation. And also, just folks should just know from a factual perspective that ICE accounts of similar violent confrontations, say in the city of Chicago, have been fairly quickly disproven by eyewitness accounts and video. Clearly, there's lots of video of what happened today. And there's lots of folks weighing in from a law enforcement perspective on what is seen in those videos, but there's no shortage of evidence about what specifically happened in the streets.
A couple of other important details just to get out there that we have learned from either lawmakers in the area or the mayor too, that she is a U.S. citizen and she was not a target of an ICE investigation.
Yeah, and that all makes sense, right? That there's somebody who had lived in Colorado Springs area for a while. We believe was in Kansas City, and then we think had been in Minneapolis for a time as well. And we're still learning more about her family and about her connections both to that area and to this area. But in the family's only public remarks in terms of things that they wanted specifically said about her publicly were her mother's comments today about how kind and compassionate she was, somebody who took care of others.
And it's worth noting, we hear what Governor Walz said. I mean, they have been living with these immigration raids for some time now, and there's a lot of witnesses here that we're talking about, people warning each other, ICE is in the neighborhood, ICE is coming. In this case, now they've dealt with the George Floyd murder. I mean, now they're going to have people on all sides angry and upset about something like this.
Yeah, and what you hear Governor Walz say in Minnesota today is something that we've heard said here in Colorado, albeit on a less heightened level, which is don't do anything in the streets that will give the president reason to send in the military. And to this point, you know, Denver has avoided any type of confrontation like that. We know that leaders in Minneapolis are similarly focused on that because people are going to want to protest. Again, in the United States of America, people have the right to protest. They have a right to say things about the government that the government does not like. But the governor and the mayor there in Minneapolis and Minnesota are trying to make sure that it does not turn into a situation where the president sends armed troops into the streets.
Yeah, and this actually happened 4 blocks away from where George Floyd died. All right, Kyle, thank you.
Yep.
So as we move on tonight, it is the calm before the storm. Another dry day in Denver, but changes are on the way. Coming tomorrow, we've issued a weather impact alert for some much needed snow.
Kathy, everybody is anticipating this. Now, let's be clear. Sometimes at this time of the year, we could talk feet. We're not looking at that.
No. But it will help us with our snow drought, and we won't have to talk about fire weather for a few days. We're back to close to 60 degrees out there today. Tinder dry, but snow is coming, and the snow could be heavy west and south. Denver's in the 1 to 4 inch range, but foothill areas could see over half a foot, and many areas could see close to a foot above 7,000 feet. Travel on I-70 today, no impact, but that will be changing as winter weather and travel advisories go out tomorrow through Friday. And now a little closer to the metro area, Castle Rock, Elbert, Kiowa, Larkspur, a winter storm watch. This goes out tomorrow morning through Friday morning. Somewhere you could see up to 10 inches of snow across Monument Hill and the Palmer Divide. Temperatures today are very warm, so with the snow beginning tomorrow earlier than we expected, we'll see a lot of melting initially, but you could wake up to snow, rain and snow showers. It's going to melt on this warm pavement, but there's a second round of snow coming in probably just after lunchtime. So that's earlier. We thought it was going to be during the evening drive. So certainly the snow starting earlier. We get a break tomorrow evening and then another surge of snow coming in overnight Thursday into Friday morning. And concerns about the Friday morning drive because it will be colder and the pavement will be colder. So ice and snow could slow that drive. So weather impact alert for Thursday and Friday for the incoming snow and cold. All part of your weather headlines. And the mountains bracing for heavy snow tomorrow. Advisories for travel there as well. I'll break all of this down coming up.
A 4th child has died in Massachusetts due to complications of the flu. This comes after the country saw its deadliest flu season for children since the CDC began tracking pediatric deaths.
Yeah, Colorado reported its first pediatric death in December, and doctors hope, of course, it's the last. 9 News reporter Jaleesa Irizarry spoke to a woman whose daughter is just released from the hospital after fighting the flu, and what experts say you can do to keep your children safe.
On a bright day outside of Children's Hospital, Colorado,
it was very scary.
Veronica David talks about her darkest days inside.
I think the hardest part is just seeing your kids struggle.
Last Sunday, David rushed Gia, her 3-year-old, to Children's after trying every remedy possible to treat the flu at home. Her daughter was struggling to breathe. David says they put her on oxygen and tested her.
They were like, it's showing up as flu A. And when we got moved up to our room, the doctor there, she was just like, I'm so sorry this is happening. Like, we're seeing a lot of this and this is all we're treating.
We've been pretty busy here at Children's Hospital, Colorado. Lots of hospitalizations for influenza and the complications that go along with it.
Dr. Kevin Messakar is a pediatric infectious disease physician at Children's. According to the latest state data, 135 kids were admitted to hospitals across Colorado just before the new year.
And we are expecting another uptick after the Christmas and New Year's holiday. What we're seeing is a new drifted strain of influenza this year. Lots of cases that it showed up early, but it's not too late to mitigate those complications and deaths due to flu by getting vaccinated.
That's something David says
Yeah.
her daughter received back in August. Doctors encourage everyone to get vaccinated to reduce the likelihood of being hospitalized with complications. Gia's symptoms eventually subsided, and she was released from the hospital just in time for David
I'm just getting by, so
to get the flu.
trying to push through it as well.
David hopes the case count drops and no other parent will have to endure days like hers.
It's scary. I don't realize how severe it gets until we're in there.
Doctors say early data shows that the flu vaccine has actually been pretty effective for kids at keeping them out of the hospital. David is thankful for how quickly Children's helped her daughter and encouraged any parent unsure if they should bring their kid in to call the hospital's health line. They're able to connect with a nurse 24/7. Jaleesa Rosari, 9 News.
Yeah, sometimes you think, okay, maybe they're getting past this or not. You gotta react right away. And the kids are just getting back into school, so they're just spreading everything.
Exactly. Now's the time that we're probably going to see a lot more illness. And it's important to point out that this little girl had RSV when she was 8 months old. So obviously that impacts her health as well.
Yes, it does. Your immune system is never quite the same. All right, thank you, Jaleesa. A new Colorado law could protect families searching for childcare from never-ending wait lists and non-refundable fees. It is not common for daycare providers to charge hundreds of dollars for wait lists that may never lead to a spot. And families are encouraged to get on several lists while they wait for months, even years, to enroll. The new law requires most application, deposit, or waitlist fees be refundable if a family doesn't get offered a spot at a private provider within 6 months. One mom and former lawmaker helped push this law forward with a group of parents in Pueblo.
I hope that this helps new parents or even parents that are already in the thick of searching for childcare equal footing. I hope this helps people find the quality childcare that they absolutely deserve and aren't faced with even another roadblock of a fee that they can't afford.
Another new law expands the family leave program, offering up to 12 weeks more for paid leave for NICU families. That's such a tough time. They're already eligible for 12 weeks of bonding. Like other newborn families, this new law, though, gives them that extra time when their child is in the hospital. That's a good thing.